times.
Welcome to Nuts Berkin Time, episode. What episode?
Finale. Final episode. Final episode.
Final episode.
You can just call it final episode.
Today it's volumes 35 through 41, and then the rest, the leftovers.
Yeah. We are caught up with Zerg. Thank you
We
for,
did it!
thank you for being along on this journey, but actually it's like something we should probably say at the end of the episode.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Dude, yeah, don't click off yet. We need the view time.
The giant demonic beast transformation of Ganishka was put to death by Griffith, and a swing of the Knight of Skeleton's sword of actuation turned Ganishka into the source from which sprung a new world. The otherworldly light and wind that emitted from Ganishka engulfed every nook and cranny of the planet. Thus did the world change. This new world was one in which creatures mankind had imagined and spoken of for generations suddenly existed.
Alright, Megan. So basically what last time happened is the evil brown guy turned into a big tree, and Griffith went on top of the tree, and he took control of the tree.
Said.
Yeah, but I'm describing it in like real terms. The big brown guy was a big tree monster, and now he's just a big good tree owned by Griffith. And the world has turned into high medieval fantasy with like medieval fantasy monsters, dragons, and stuff being everywhere. I mean, that's where we like left off, and it basically just continues with, damn, this Griffith guy is so awesome. Everyone's looking at like the giant new tree, and they're like, damn, Griffith really did it. And the former capital just turns into like the biggest city that has ever existed, like, which is
Falconia. Fuck yeah.
The worst name ever. Like, it was such a lame name for like such a moment. But yeah,
I think it's okay. I think it's a really.
If Falcon isn't even a hawk, Griffith is the hawk.
That's okay.
Why is the
it doesn't need to. What are you gonna call it? Hawkia? Come on, Bando.
Yeah, maybe. That makes more sense.
But it's a stupid fucking name.
Well, Konya also sucks.
Not as bad as Hawkia.
You could call it like Hawkopolis.
Hawkopolis. Yeah, there you go. Anyway, I think it's a really cool design for the city itself.
The city is like based on like Greek Roman architecture stuff. You literally see like the Colosseum at one point, and like those like typical Greek what was it called? Like the Acropolis, or what it's called. Like, you can see that. Above the shots as well. So like, yeah, it's that. And it's huge. It's like comically huge city. Like probably the size of the city is like a modern city. Yeah. Like it's like definitely like something that couldn't exist in the Middle Ages.
Man.
It's basically implied that like basically everyone from the entire country moves to, like, from the world even, like, moves to this new city. Yeah. And the city also just like they skip a few centuries. Like, they have like, this like the refugee quarter. We give like free lodging to everyone. We have we have like a registry for people. Oh yeah, that's something that comes up later. Like, that was so stupid. It's like, like all the ministers are talking about what to do, and they're like, "Damn, the economy kind of sucks because this country was in like a massive war until now." And the queen, Griffith's wifey, says, "I like children. Can we like build an orphanage?" And then they're like, "Oh, come on, women, we women." Of course, they make the bad suggestions, and then Griffith is like, "No, we should do that. And in fact, we should introduce like compulsory free schooling," which is like, oh, there was like such an isekai moment. I guess I can like start with this. New Griffith feels like an isekai protagonist. It really feels like the whole, like, you know those like stories which are like, I turned back, I was sent into a new world and I became a great manager of the economy. Like, those kind of like isekais. Yeah. It really feels like that. Like, Griffith is not like, he doesn't act like a person who lived in this era. He's just like it really feels like the author is inserting himself into Griffith in the past. He's like, I, from a modern view, know that like compulsory schooling is good, so Griffith is going to suggest that. So it's like, wow, you're really skipping a few hundred beats, 100,000. Like, it doesn't really even make that much sense, because like the rebuttals that the ministers give is like, damn, if the people are educated, they're going to be like unruly. And Griffith, being the controlling person he is, you would think that, oh yeah, Griffith wouldn't want people to be like smart, like his underlings to be smart necessarily. It's strange. It definitely like blew me out a bit with like, damn, Griffith really just became the isekai protagonist after chapter 100 something. which is very sad. Like the different like Griffith really just died and he just turned
And now
into a
he's
different
femto.
character. Yeah,
Because he kind of
the,
literally
the,
did.
yeah, I think it is almost fair to argue that these are two different characters. Griffith was a different character than the White Hawk, and the White Hawk sucks. He's just an Isekai protagonist, like overpowered Isekai protagonist. Literally, like Berserk says, that like what he is doing is like a story within a story, and nobody can change it. He's like the fate itself is like trying to make sure that his tail is awesome and nobody can like touch him, and everything is gonna be like super well and always go in his favor. It's like it literally is an Isekai protagonist, and then you have Griffith, the like flawed, good written character.
Yeah.
So yeah, modern Griffith, very bad character, very boring, very Isekai protagonist.
Yeah.
That city is kind of crazy. It's
Big
very
city.
large. Oh yeah, and they showed us that like in the middle of the city there's like a barrier that surrounds all the monster people, and the monster people are like permanently doing like gladiator fights against fancy monsters they capture for training purposes.
It's pretty epic.
Yeah, some guy that kind of looked like the priest guy from the Conviction arc was fighting the Greg Ogre from post-Conviction arc.
Yeah.
They didn't have time to come up with new monster designs.
It's okay. So after we're introduced to the city, we get the pirate stuff.
I don't actually remember. Does the Rickard stuff happen now, or does the pirate stuff happen and then we cut to the Rickard stuff and then we cut back to the island stuff?
The pirate stuff happens first. Or at least...
When does the Rickard stuff happen? Does it happen like after... Does it happen after they arrive at the big island?
I think so. I'm clicking through these, like, the chapters a little bit.
Okay. I think the Rickard stuff probably happens after the full pirate thing. You know, like after the first island they come across. After that whole thing happens, after the arc happens that only exists so the worst character in the cast can get a girlfriend.
Yeah.
All right, so basically, you know, last time we left off of Guts and stuff, they were like on a boat going to the Elf Island, right?
Right.
And
of course, if you're in a fantasy world and you're on a boat, you're going to run into a ghost pirate ship. It's just going to happen.
Oh yeah, right. So I don't actually remember what we talked about. I think first what actually happens is they just fight the pirates for the first time. Or did it happen like in a what previous volumes?
That already happened, yeah. Because now, by now,
yeah.
they're already ghosts.
The same pirates they whooped.
They come back.
After the world turned into fantasy, they turned into ghost pirates, and then they fight them, and they have like also assistance from a bunch of monster tentacles. And guys, you know what happens when monsters appear? God swings at them with his sword, and everyone says, "No way! How can he swing this giant sword? He's destroying them."
It's literally the same formula.
It's so funny. Every Berserk fight is just, oh my god, how is Guts going to win? Oh my god, Guts is winning.
No way he can swing that sword. Holy shit, he swung the sword. And then he drops a few one-liners or something.
Yeah, it's.
Are these things edible? Come on, Guts, shut the fuck up.
I think Puck also made it like some Shukimi type jokes.
Oh yeah, of course.
Being like dressed as a sushi merchant.
So
yeah, the pirate fight isn't like super interesting, right? They just fight the pirates and they destroy the tentacles, and eventually I don't actually remember. Does Guts transform into Guts Berserk?
I'm looking. I don't think so. I don't think he does at all. I think
he transforms Guts Berserk later, like in the second time around. But yeah, this time around they just kind of destroy them, and then the ghost pirate just leave.
0 difficulty.
Yeah. But I think because of this fight, the ship needs like repairs.
They need to stop for repairs.
They find like a small island, which they describe kind of as like just like a big rock in the middle of nowhere. Like as in like the island isn't actually like big. It's like really like if you like stood on top of the island, you could probably like see like just about everything like from the top. So like it's a pretty small island, and they stop for a bit, and then they look for people that live on the island, and they do find a village, but
it's
at the same
weird and
time,
creepy.
yeah, but at the same time, Shirkei and really annoying kid, like they like are separated from the group, and they like go around like the shore. They find like a very scary cave, and they don't go inside that scary cave. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no, Shirka comes looking for him later. Shirka's not looking at him.
They're split up from the party, but both separate from each other.
Yeah,
Because
he
Isidro goes
goes there by
on
himself.
his own along with Puck, and then runs into Isma.
Well,
And Isma's like, "Don't go in the cave. It's pretty
yeah,
spooky."
and then and then I think he like gets swept by like a wave or something, or falls down. Like something happens where like she has to save him and bring him to her house. Isma being a naked like 15, 16-year-old girl presumably,
Yeah.
and then like he wakes up at her hut and she's naked and
And
he's like
funny
awooga,
nosebleed moments and stuff. Very fun.
yeah, a lot of awoogas, and then she like tells us her like him about herself a bit, and very very tastefully, like the author draws some like lines to make sure that you see that while she tells him her backstory, he is looking at her boobs.
Yeah, very fun. Good stuff.
Yeah, it's great. And he's like, "Oh my god, you're like a great hero, and the stories you told me about like Nuts Berserk and stuff are great." And uh, she like also like she like presses himself like him against her boobs a few times as well, and he's like, "Ooga ooga ooga," and she's
Yep.
obviously not noticing anything because she's
Super funny.
she yeah. And
Meanwhile, the rest of the party's like in the bar, and then Shirka's like, "I'm gonna leave."
And they arrive at the village first, and they like say they do notice that the village is a little creepy, a little weird, and they arrive at like the tavern slash place to stay, and then they get like food there, and the food is kind of weird, and the people acting weird, and they're like, "This place is kind of weird. You could even call it fishy."
That's funny.
Yeah,
See,
Shurka,
just because
yeah,
it's nautical.
yeah, but Shurka notices like stuff, and like she leaves early, but
Mm-hmm.
the rest is like staying there for supper, presumably. Like
Yeah,
they're eating, and I think they said like the food is fine.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, but eventually, like Guts notices that like the cook, there's something up with him. He's strange.
Something fishy.
There's something fishy going on. Then I think we basically just see Shortcut like trace back annoying kid to steps and find him at a hut, and then
Mm-hmm.
he meets her. I think she sees Isiro's being pressed against the boobs of the one girl, and she's like, "Grr, don't do that, Isiro."
Yeah. Fucked up.
But then she like, then they like talk more about like just like she tells them more about like her backstory of like the reason why I'm not with the rest of the villagers is because they don't like me, and my parents died, and this amulet is the only thing I've left. Like stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. It will come in like this will be like important in a moment. Like basically, her parents may be human and not human, which makes
Yeah.
her not a human.
Because Shirka
I
can
think
sense that there's something fishy about her.
Durga looks like into her soul, and she sees a watery creature, something that is not very human,
Something
and she's like,
fishy.
we can't just keep dismissing it. Meanwhile, in the bar, I think it's like late now, and yeah, there's definitely noticing that everyone is being a bit too fishy now, and I think like a fight breaks out in the bar, like that's
Yeah.
notes or yeah, and then they look outside, and then they see all the villagers are around the tavern, looking at them, and the villagers don't look very human
They're a little bit
anymore.
fishy, you might say.
Same with the villagers inside of the
And then
tavern.
they turn
They're
into
also a bit
tentacle monsters, and
fishy.
then there's another fight.
Actually, most importantly, Guts is like, everyone says, Guts, there's so many of them, you can't take them on. And then Guts is like, I'm Guts Berserk, I can't take them on. And he takes them on. And then the Ghost Pirate show up, and they're like, we have home field advantage here, and we're gonna destroy you, everybody. and I think
And
Guts
then
like
Guts
definitely like
does go
takes him
berserk
on.
here. Yeah.
But Guts has to go berserk because of the Ghost Pirates eventually. And when he goes berserk, he like destroys everything, and the Ghost Pirates are like, "Holy shit, this guy's crazy! You could even say that he is nuts."
Berserk? Oh.
I guess it works well. Did one of the people in this arc say Guts is going berserk?
Yes. I remember because I screenshotted it.
But yeah, Guts, in his berserker armor style, just destroys everything,
Yeah, of
destroys all the
course.
like tentacle monsters.
And they win.
All the villagers have turned into tentacles, and I think at this point we have already been told that like this island is the lair of the sea god.
Yeah, they mentioned that, yeah. So Guts and his crew were forced to dock at an island where legends of a sea god and Meros persist, but it was a monstrous place where the inhabitants had been transformed into tentacles by the sea god. The god was overwhelmingly powerful, having turned a pirate ship into a tentacle, and Guts had no choice but to once again don the berserker armor. Yeah.
Nice. I didn't know that you had to memorize so well, Tegan.
Yeah, I just you know. Um, let's see what happens next. Shika tries to save Guts. Guts is still going
Oh,
berserk.
actually, I think we didn't mention that the Moon Child is with them again.
I
The
don't
one
think
that
he
like was
showed
with
up.
them. No, he
Did he
always
show
showed up.
up yet?
He showed up. I'm pretty
Oh,
sure.
okay. I didn't
I
notice him.
think so, at least. I'm pretty sure.
I don't think I'm clicking through the chapters and I haven't seen him.
I do remember that he like is there at one point. I think with them on that island.
He shows up. Yeah, I don't think it was yet though.
But like it can't be after all of these events, because after all of these events,
Oh wait, it is. It's right after Guts gets out of the Berserkin time armor.
okay, so after Guts gets out
It's
of
right.
the
It's the
then
next
child.
thing that happens. Yeah.
Alright, yeah, the child does show up, and it's mysterious and helps Guts at some point with mystical powers.
Who could this child
Yeah,
be?
I think this child. I think we have another one of those moments where like everyone's like, "Oh no, is Guts going to attack us?" And then this one spirit appears in front of Guts. And it's like, "No, don't do that." And then
Yep.
Guts like turns back into normal Guts.
Mhm.
And then I notice that the child is with Casca.
Mhm. That's suspicious. Why does the child like Casca so much? I guess we'll find out later.
I don't actually
Then
remember. Do they like hang out a bit, or do they like immediately go after the sea god lair?
I think they do a little bit of hangout. Farty and Shirka do their um astral selves or whatever the fuck it was. This is when Farty casts the four. What do you call it?
Oh
The
yeah, they're
barrier
like on the ship.
magic.
Oh yeah, they're like hanging out on their ship for a bit before like they depart, and they basically set up the whole thing. Body's gonna stay with the rest of the gang and put on the barrier. Well, uh, Guts is gonna go with Furkay to destroy the sea god.
Yeah.
So the squad is hanging out on the ship now, and the ship has like a magical barrier, and they're expecting to be attacked pretty soon, which
Yeah.
does happen after Guts himself leaves a bit.
And this
They
is
fight
where
the
we
ghost
get
pirate.
Guts turns into the very ugly mode Berserk armor, with half the
Yeah,
face covered.
yeah. Because
Extremely
that's the one where you
ugly.
go with Furkay. It's like they go into the sea god lair. And they immediately fight like a bunch of monsters and the ghost pirates, and they're like, "What are you doing here?" And Guts kind of whoops like a few of the sea monsters. Eventually, they see in the background that there's this giant being with a
Like a big
huge ass
mouth or
mouth.
something, yeah.
Yeah, and Kirkus like, "What are we gonna do about this?" And Guts like, "Trust me, I know what I'm gonna do."
Don't
And he just
worry,
jumps
I'm
into the
Guts
mouth.
Berserk.
He jumps into the mouth of the creature, and the ghost parts are like, "This guy's nuts."
So
And
then they're
then he's like,
inside.
"Enjoy being like eaten by the sea god while we kill your friends." And then they go off. The ghost pirates go off to like fight the ghost ship, which has the regular ship, which has like the magical barrier, and they have a fight, which I guess not much of a point to even mention. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
the gang eventually beats the ghost pirates.
that's it, yeah.
Yeah, like they cut in
Um,
between a few times, but I guess no reason to mention them. Like, yeah, they fight the ghost pirates, and the ghost pirates get whooped for like a seventh time, and they this time like fully die.
Yep. Finally, it's about time because this was what the like fifth time they showed up,
Yeah, this whole
and they were
arc is like
bozos the
so.
entire time.
This whole arc is like so filler. Like
Yeah.
the only thing that happens from this arc is that they got another party member who really just exists as like a target for Isidore to be horny about and like
Yeah.
have a girlfriend. But yeah,
It
Guts
sucks.
is inside the monster and inside the sea god, and inside the sea god, well, the zombie is like huge. There's like a bunch of ships inside of it, and there's also
Mhm.
like a bunch of monsters in it that just live there. So he has to fight a bunch of monsters, and then he has to fight a bunch of monsters, and he has to fight a bunch of monsters. So like there's like multiple waves of monsters he has to fight.
Yeah, and while he's
He's very
fighting,
stretched out.
the god like emerges from the island, and everyone else can see this. It's like the big sphere or whatever, with all
Yeah,
the tentacles.
yeah.
Um,
And eventually they're like, "Holy shit, what are we gonna do?" And then
oh, this is where the ghost
the
pirate
one girl,
says, "Shiver me timbers." That was a good line.
uh, then I think Ishiro falls off the ship, and then the girl like jumps
And then she
after him
dives
and
in,
transforms into a mermaid
and then
and
something fishy
saves him.
happens.
And then she saves him and throws him back on board. And then everyone's like, "Holy shit, you're like a mermaid." They don't actually say the word mermaid. They said like some other word which I've never heard about
What do they call
before.
it?
And like something mer, I think.
Marrow. Yeah.
Yeah, marrow. But yeah, she's a mermaid, and
No, she's a
I was like,
marrow.
"Whoa, it's crazy." And then a bunch of other marrows show up,
Mm-hmm.
including her mom. That she's half marrow because her mom is a marrow.
Right.
And then they fight the sea god because uh, at some point we haven't said that like Welsh was like talking about the lore of the island. They basically said in the past the sea god was defeated by the marrows in
Mm-hmm.
like a big war that they had, and now basically that's happening again. The marrows are fighting the sea god again.
Right.
Uh,
So the sea god is on the move, destroying the island as it emerges. The creature's form is beyond imagination. A school of marrow appears surrounding the sea god. The race has waged war on the sea god for many years. Among them is Isma's mother. Inside the sea god, Guts arrives at his heart while in his right mind and with Shirka's luminous body in tow. But the sound of the sea god's heartbeat is so loud, attacking it proves to be more difficult than Guts can handle.
yeah, that's what happened. I get to remember that. But
Ah.
yeah,
And at this
Upper
point,
Guts,
the white
Upper
line
Guts
is
be saying,
basically gone, which is a very important development. They try
yeah.
to like
I
stitch
mean,
the pages together.
it's definitely like still multiple that there's something in the middle, but it's
Yeah.
like tiny instead of like massive.
Instead of half the page. Yeah.
So yeah, after like the seventh wave of filler monsters, Guts fights in the stomach. Uh, like they notice, oh, if we keep going in that direction, we're gonna find the heart of the creature and kill it.
Mm-hmm.
They go that direction, and the like heartbeat of the sea god is like destroying Guts. And while that's happening, a bunch of fish monsters appear around the heart of the sea god that Guts has to defeat before he can continue. That's crazy. It's like at least a fourth wave of like filler monsters that Guts has to fight. At least these have like unique designs.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Guts bites them and kills them. That's
So
weird.
cool.
But Guts is very injured at this point. He's not
But
feeling so
then
good.
all the marrows save him. And that's where we get the how it feels to be a shoujo fan in
No,
Mudcourt panel.
you're skipping way too far ahead.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
You are.
No, I
Uh,
skipped one chapter, Bando.
uh, what happens is that after Guts defeats them, he like falls over and dies from the sea god, the heart noise like destroying him. And then the Marrows like do a song that cancels out the sea god, and then Guts stabs the heart, and the sea god dies.
Man,
And
that's it.
the sea god's innards like flood up, and Guts has to like escape. And he cuts open like the stomach wall or something, and like he just gets immediately flushed away by like infinite amount of blood that the sea god has. So Guts, he's having a hard time escaping, and everyone else is like, the sea god is sinking. We need to help Guts. Guts is still in there. Oh yeah, I remember Shurika like gets transported out after Guts like falls
Mm-hmm.
unconscious, and she's like, "We need to save Guts. He's still in there." And the crew goes in. They go like into the like very first layer of the sea god's mouth, and they like, call for Guts, who's like probably very far inside of it. And they're like, "Damn, Guts is not at the entrance. I guess that's not. I guess we have to just I guess we just abandon him." Guts' friends are great friends.
They should have abandoned him.
Yeah, but through like some of the holes that the sea god has like in his bottom, I think maybe Guts even cut them open. The murmurs, they eventually find their way inside of the sea god into the layer where Guts was, and then the panel happens where they carry Guts out like Jesus. It very much reminded me of like one Spider-Man scene where they're like all the people are like carrying Spider-Man, and like there was like a meme about it once, like be careful, he's a Shojo man. I mean, a lot of people will probably remember. There's like a scene where Spider-Man gets carried by a bunch of civilians, and they're like, "Be careful, he's like awesome." And like people made memes about that, where like they just replaced like the word with something.
With Shoujo fan?
It very much, and yeah, like it very much encompasses the same sort of idea of like, "Be careful, he's a shoujo fan."
Okay, I understand.
And yeah, he gets carried out, and I was like, "Oh my god, Guts is alive!" And Guts is like, "Yeah, I'm alive."
I'm so cool. I'm Guts Berserk.
I think he probably has like some one-liner. I think he says like, "Good job, Shirk. Hey, thank you." And Shirk is like, "Oh my god, Guts Berserk."
Guts Berserk, I love you.
I think we haven't mentioned like Shirk and Guts moments, but there's a few.
Yeah.
I think at some point, while like they're talking to the mermaid girl, they like do like she does like an implication like that, and she like does the whole thing where like she puts the like elf that she always has with her under her witch hat and is like embarrassed. But yeah, island arc basically over. The island sinks with a sea god monster, and they get a new party member, which is Isatro's girlfriend. Very much a filler arc. Definitely sad that the author wasted like 7 years of Berserk's runtime writing this. Maybe Berserk could have been done before he died if he just didn't do this arc.
If he skips this one, yeah.
Because yeah, nothing important happened. Like I really can't think of anything important happening on this arc besides, I guess they met the Moonchild again once, so like it would have felt like one of the developments of the Moonchild later on would have felt fresher because they met it like twice instead of once before, and they got a girlfriend that doesn't really do anything in the next arc either. Like this arc was so filler. I mean, I guess Barty got to like do some more magic stuff, so it's like he's get better at magic. That is somewhat important, I guess. But like it really was like not important in this arc.
Yeah,
I would say this arc is about as important as Moth arc.
Probably, yeah. So then while they're on the ship, Guts is like dreaming about Casca, thinking about somebody said like, what if she doesn't want to be, what if her wish isn't your wish or whatever it was.
Said that.
And then so after that is the Guts backstory.
Yeah, we get like a little bit of back.
I don't know why this was included.
It was very like whatever. It's like a short bit of backstory which shows that Guts met like a flower elf in the past that helped him out when he was like captured, and then I don't know. It's like I guess Guts always had interactions with elf-like beings, and he like was nice to them and he liked them. That's really it. Like we don't even need to describe what really happens. Like Guts gets captured by the guy. He goes down for working time on him. And he takes like the flower of the flower elf that died to a big flower field, and it's like,
whoa, this is deep.
Rest in peace, my elf friend.
So after that, just some trolls. Oh, this is where we see like
the world having like struggling with the monsters all around, and also the Griffith army goes like around fighting these monsters, saving the like people, bringing them to the big capital, all that stuff. Pretty sure that's what happens next.
This is where we get the what's the kid's name who doesn't suck that much?
You're gonna have to explain. You're gonna have to be like a bit more specific about it. Yeah, what I said.
Yeah, this is the Rickard stuff.
We see that basically every place that is not Falconia is like struggling with the monsters, and Rickard is like running away from a bunch of trolls. He's like with a bunch of merchants or something like that, and they get rescued by the Griffith army. But Rickard also like has like You know those like machine gun, like stationary machine guns that have like those bullet belt kind of things going on. He basically did that, but like for like a crossbow. Like he has an
Yeah.
auto firing
Super
crossbow,
cool.
stationary crossbow,
Very awesome.
and he used that to like kill a bunch of trolls. And then group of army officers are like, "Damn, this guy's kind of awesome." And then he's like, "Oh yeah, I was with the Band of the Hawk, the OG one." And then they're like, "Holy shit, that's awesome! We're gonna bring you to the capsule and to Griffith, and you can meet him." And they go to the capsule, and Rickard is like, "Holy shit, this city is enormous and crazy, and like somewhat scientifically advanced, more beyond the Middle Ages, where this story takes place." And then and this is where like they talk about like how the city works and like how it's like super
Yeah.
advanced, like kind of like a
So
pre-modern city in the Middle Ages.
So basically, with the help from the Marrow, Guts' party has defeated the Sea God. Guts, on the verge of death as a result of drawing out the power of the Berserker armor, is rescued by the Marrow in a mysterious luminous body. The party then follow as the Marrow guide them to Elf Island. Meanwhile, on the mainland, Rickert is rescued from danger by the reborn Band of the Hawk as he makes his way toward Falconia.
Yeah, exactly. And then they go to Falconia. They talk a lot about how the city is. The prostitutes from like previous arcs live there now as well.
Oh, that's
Um,
right, yeah.
but yeah, basically Rickard gets to like meet up with Griffith, and then there's like a big scene where like uh, they're like in a big courtyard, and then Rickard comes up, and Griffith is like, "Oh, I need to talk to this guy." And Griffith kind of like does like a pose, like he's like, are you finally here to like become part of me, the cool guys?" And Rickard slaps him. He's like, "Fuck you.
Yeah,
You're
good
not
for
the
you,
real
Rickert.
Griffith."
That's a cool
And
moment for Rickert.
that scene actually kind of like really puts up. Rickard basically said what I said, like, "You are not Griffith. You're a different
Yeah.
person."
So
And
that was
then
a cool
Griffith like
scene. I liked that.
plays it off as like, "I got rejected," which I feel like it would have been maybe even more in character for Griffith to actually be kind of mad about that. Like
I
his
don't think
perfect story.
so. With
I don't know,
what Griffith
like
is like turned into, like it's
I
like
think
he's
it was
clearly
Band of
trying
the
to be a good guy. I don't think it would have made sense for him to like get super mad at Rickert here.
it doesn't have to be like into his face, but I feel like if he like, I think him playing it off like that, it's like the White Hawk is like this like literal god perfectionist of like everything has to be perfect. My story has to make me the most important person who's ever lived in the history of ever. I'm literally Jesus. And the fact that he gets slapped by like
Then
someone
why
like
would he get
that,
mad about this like nothing kid saying that he doesn't
I
like
mean,
him?
it's like the idea of
Like,
like the thing is, super important people like that are generally petty, right? Like if someone below
well,
like
yeah, but
if
the whole
I
point
feel like
of
I
Griffith's
feel like him
development is
playing
that he
doesn't
like was
it doesn't have to be,
replacing
like
the
super
nobles
mad.
who were like that.
It doesn't have to be like that, really. I mean, it doesn't have
It
to be like super
is.
mad. I just think him completely playing it off as like I don't really care. That was a bit like,
It's part of his
I feel
cool
like
demeanor.
he could have cared a bit more about it.
No, I don't think that would have made sense.
And to be fair, I just don't think that the White Hawk is written very well. It's just kind of Jesus.
What do you mean Jesus isn't written very well?
Jesus was actually pretty poorly written. I think Jesus. I think the Bible is kind of a mid story. Like, uh,
Hey.
I
We'll
rate it
talk about
6 out
that. We'll talk about that when when we read the Bible group read.
of 10. Bible
Um,
podcast.
dude, that would be fun. We should do that. Monkwood Bible
Take it easy.
study.
Take it. When you guys did the Bible group read, you all said it. Wouldn't it be funny? And then you read like
I was still
a
into
little
it, and
bit.
then everyone else was like, "This isn't a funny joke anymore," and I was like, "Come on, you guys."
Taggart, I
But
feel like you were
anyway,
just a bit too into reading the Bible. But yeah,
anyway,
Rickard
while
does
Rickert
that.
is leaving, he runs into
Rickard
the
does that. It
assassin
was pretty
guy,
awesome. Rickard did that, and it was pretty awesome.
and then the
Um,
Kushan guys show up.
well, I mean, you're like skipping so much. So
No,
like
I'm not.
Rickard goes back to like where they're staying, and they're Rickard is saying, "I have to leave. I can't live here
He
because
talks to the
all of
Hoors a little bit.
all of this like nice." Like Falconia might be a nice place, but this place was built on top of the corpses of my comrades, so I cannot live here. And then they talk about like, will you leave the girl with us, or will you take her with her? And she says, I want to go with Rickard. And he says, I will take her with me. And then they're like, okay, that's nice. But like they're preparing to leave. And then late at night, the one guy shows up, the one assassin guy, the Griffith
The
assassin
assassin
guy.
guy who looks like he's going to be a cool character and then just isn't anything at all.
you could even say that he was character assassinated. So yeah, he shows
That's
up.
pretty clever.
He talks about, oh, remember how I was literally on the tree? Yeah, that the author decided 2 minutes after drawing that panel that he actually doesn't think that was a good idea, so just forget it ever happened. Yeah, Rickard, you have to die because you were a former member of the Band of the Hog. And then Rickard gets saved by the one Kushan, the first Kushan we ever saw, and his like Pillarman buddies. They save him. They even like semi-defeat the guy. Like they cut his mask in half, and then he's like, "Damn,
Damn, this
you
guy got
ruined the
owned.
mood. You ruined the mood. My vibe is broken. I'm just gonna go home now." They didn't actually like defeat him or anything. Just like, I really liked my mask and you broke it. I'm now sad. And I believe
He literally says that. I liked this one too. Sad.
I think that
mood's
part
ruined. Like, I'm leaving is what he says.
I think at that point, I still think the character was awesome. I really like the part where like he's like this like crazy assassin, and then like something happens that like just annoys him, and he's like nah, I'm out of here. I think that was actually really funny and really well written. Yeah. But then like yeah, we will get to it. So the one guy said the one cushion guy says, yeah, you gotta get out of here because that guy's gonna show up later again. And then he tells them like where should we go, and then he's like, I know a place to go, so we all will go there. And they prepare for like the night attack of this guy. He shows up again, and they fight him. They prepared some traps. They like don't work very well. He fights like the cushion guys. He fights Rickard's like weapons, and at one point, but he's pretty strong. So like he's like able to like deflect all their attacks, and at some point the little girl like runs off to like help Rickard, and she fails and falls and lays right in front of the assassin guy who can now kill her, which was very convenient writing.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's about to like kill her, and then the one like guru guy, the right hand man of the previous emperor, who was like working at the stables before and kind of liked the girl. He rescues the girl, and he's like, now we're even, little girl. And yeah, so assassin guy has to fight the Kushan guy with his pillarman, Rickard, and the guru. And because that is pretty rough, actually I think they just like put him on fire first.
They put him on fire, and then he cuts a horse in half and uses the blood to put the fire out.
It was pretty awesome.
That was sick.
And then he like transforms like into like a big monstrous version of himself. Like he's just kind of a long. He just feels very big and long.
Yeah.
And he can fly. Because
of course he can.
After he transforms into that version of himself, they're like, alright, this guy may be a bit too much for us. And then the guru was like, don't worry, I got you guys covered. And he like whistles, and out of the barn, a bunch of pterodactyls come out, like the flying one. And they're like, I got these boys ready just for this moment. And then they like fly away on the like flying dinosaurs. And then the guy, who doesn't look like he can fly at all, reveals that he can fly in that like monstrous version. And he flies like behind them. But they're able to shake him off with like some stuff.
Yeah.
I remember what they exactly do, but they do some stuff and they shake him off.
Rickard shoots him, I think.
Yeah, something like that. Like, and then he basically like stops flying. He falls. He's like sad about that.
And that's it.
Yeah. Kind of sad. Like he does like a bunch of awesome things, but I really think that like this like cool assassin character transforming into just this like big bulky monster was like kinda asymmetrical. It doesn't really fit the character at all. And also obviously like the big problem of like I mean he also said it at some point that like the only reason I'm working with Griffith right now is because I want to kill him eventually. Remember that point where the author literally implied that he was like maybe going to kill Griffith before he could achieve his goal, but then 2 pages later he decided against that? Yeah, like in general this character just completely underutilized. Like you can't write this character because like for 200 chapters we have like established by now that his motivation is that he's only on Griffith's side because he wants to kill Griffith eventually. And then we never get to that point.
Nothing happens. Yeah.
At least before it was like he worked with Griffith like to like kill the Emperor, for example. But like now it's like literally Griffith sends him off to like kill random bozos he doesn't like. Like he acts like an underling, but like he's supposed to be like this disloyal soldier. Like the only guy in Griffith's ranks that is like disloyal to him. There's like just very bad writing.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
It is also sad because he is by far my favorite of Griffith's commanders. He looks so cool, and he does. I mean, this chapter he does so many cool things. The fact that when his mask got cut off, he's just like, "Nah, bye, bros, I leave."
Never
That was
mind.
super funny. And
That
the
was
fact
funny.
that he cut the horse in half and used his blood to like stop himself being on fire, that was also super sick.
Yeah.
So it's kind of sad that he's kind of mid like that.
Oh well, it's Berserk.
Yeah,
Lower your
Rickard and stuff
expectations.
basically from the
And then we
city.
cut back to Guts and the rest of the crew.
Yeah, I think they arrived at the Elf Island finally, which is was like their destination since what, like
forever.
Since like chapter
like this
150
whole
or
since
something?
Casca lost her mind, I think. like
no, not
pretty
since
much, pretty
I think
much.
since Conviction arc, since like after like when Griffith like transforms. Since then, I think the Elfheim was their goal.
Yeah.
Like the second he rescued Casca and Casca became a party member. Ever since then, they wanted to go to Elfheim, which is right after Griffith like is reborn as the White Falcon, which has been like over 200 chapters by now. So like, yeah,
it's about
it took
time.
a while. They arrive at Elf Island, and like the stuff that happens at Elf Island, like the start is like, at first they subvert the defenses of the island.
There's some spooky rocks.
And
Puck saves them. There's some scarecrows.
They fight like a scarecrow, like a burning scarecrow, and like they defeat them. And then one of the wizards shows up and is like, "These guys are our guests," and they are brought to the island, brought to like the inner parts of the island. It looks like a very nice. It is like the vibe we know from like fantasy, the witch forest / village place. Like,
yeah, I like this vibe. I think it's cool.
I mean, yeah, Black Clover had this one as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both
the living inside the forest with like four houses that are half plant, half house. Like, it's a cool aesthetic.
It is, yeah.
And this part of Berserk is kind of chill. Like they arrive and they just kind of talk for a bit, and they just chill. They relax after all this like bad things that has happened. They introduce like a bunch of the characters, a bunch of the wizards. They introduce the elf. They first introduce the one woman as like she's like one of the main mages on the island, and then she like takes her hat off. It's like, I'm also the king of the fairies.
That was cool. Yeah, that was cool. So
yeah, pretty cool.
Guts and crew fend off the sea god's attack and finally make landfall at their destination, Elf Island. The journey is nearly over to find a safe place for Casca to live and have an audience with an elven leader who's said to have some way of restoring Casca's mind. The party hurry forward to find this ruler, but lying in wait for them are traps and spells put in place to drive away visitors.
Yeah, we already talked about all of that.
What?
Yeah, we already talked about all of that.
Oh.
But yeah, and the crew just kind of like has like a few nice moments, rests up.
Some cool witches.
Studies magic. Guts chills a bit. Like he got just told to chill a bit, like before like Casca's mind is restored. Like, yeah, we're gonna do it. You don't need to like be so hasty about it. Just relax. Just sit down.
Yeah.
And then yeah, they take Casca to like a special place, which is like a big bed, and the king of elves says, lay down, and the Turkey and 40, you also lay down with her, and you will all enter like a dream state, and you can like enter the dreams of one another, and you have to go into her dream and find out what's wrong with her.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like a really funny panel at first, which shows like they give. Oh no. Okay, first we go to like we see the dream of 40 and the dream of Turkey. The dream of Turkey is really annoying kid is a monkey that like annoys her.
She's eating honey. It's fun.
Yeah, it's I also would have a nightmares if I knew a child that annoying, probably.
Mm-hmm. And then
Then we see Farty's nightmare is
she's like doing
she does like
laundry.
a bunch of manual labor. She does like a bunch of like laundry, and like everyone's like, you do very nice manual labor. And Guts is with her, but like she imagines Guts as like the helmet of the berserker armor. And it's important to say that both Turkey and her take like stuff from their own dreams with them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Go to Casca stream. And then they go to Casca stream, and it's like this really low quality,
The funny art
cartoon
style.
thing first, which was very great. I thought it was great.
I
They're
think
like,
all of
damn,
Berserk should look like
this,
this.
there's not much is going on inside her head. And then they see, oh, there's like a different path they can take here, and then they
And then
go
there's the
and find,
eclipse.
yeah, they find like the inner parts of Casca that are not like the silly version of Casca.
And this
And
is really
they're like,
cool. I really like this
it is
part of.
pretty cool. Yeah, it looks very like they're like, damn, this place looks crazy, and they like go around a bit, and they find a dog that is like carrying a coffin with, and they quickly find out, oh, the dog is supposed to be Guts,
The dog
and the
might be
coffin is Casca.
guts.
And inside of the coffin is like a broken doll, and it's like Casca's psyche. So they have to go around this like hellhole collecting the pieces of Casca and put it all back together. And inside is like the mini version of Casca, the silly version of Casca is like a tiny, tiny creature. Uh,
Oh,
and she's like living inside of the
yeah.
casket, and she doesn't like Guts, the dog.
Casket. Casket.
Yeah,
Casket. Do you get
that's
it?
pretty clever. And we
Thank
quickly
you.
find out that the place they are in is penis hell, because all the monsters are just giant penis monsters. And by penis, I mean literally they're made out of penises. Like there's giant penis worms. There's little guys whose anatomy is like they have penises for hands, they have penises for legs, and their heads are penises. So, and considering
Casca's
all the
just got
penis
penis on
monsters,
the mind, I think.
and the whole point is that like these are like reflections of like her trauma, which is like understandable why there would be such a penis scene considering we know what happened to Casca.
Yeah.
And this part like looks very cool, but there's not much to say. It is very much in like they very much cut through it a bit. Like they just show like 8 bits because it's implied that this takes like months. They have a lot of battles with penis monsters where they use the things they took with them to fight them. They use like the golems, they use the fire wheel, they use
Yeah, they use
like
all this stuff.
they use
The stuff
like
that
the
they pick
head
up in their.
of the priest guy as like a weapon
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
like the priest guy Thwomp or something.
It was literally a flump.
So
Yeah,
Guts' party reach Elf Island and have an audience with a Flower Storm monarch who is said to have a way of restoring minds. Shika and Farnas are selected for the ritual, and they make their way through the corridor of dreams and down into a world deep within Casca's psyche. But this turns out to be a wasteland dimly lit by black sun. Shika and Farnas fend off monsters that attack as they gather fragments of Casca's memories, all the while guided toward their miasma enshrouded final destination.
yeah. Eventually, they have like all but one piece of Casca ready. There's also like more of the implications of like, does Casca actually want her mind restored? And
Yeah,
yeah,
well, that's been a theme this whole time.
yeah. Spoiler: the answer is yes.
They fight off some
Spoiler:
more penis
spoiler: the author
monsters.
was like, I can't write all of this and then just say, no, Casca stays the way she is. So we're restoring her mind. But yeah,
Penis stuff. Lots of
basically
penis.
they arrive at like the eclipse, and the giant black hawk monster attacks them, and Guts fights it, and Guts gets his ass whooped.
What? Guts
But
lost?
speaking of Guts, obviously like the dog version of Guts is fighting the giant black hawk, who I wonder who the giant black hawk could be themed after.
I don't know.
But
Doesn't make any sense.
Marty, who had like the berserker armor Guts had with her, that one like comes out of her pocket, flies to the dog, and the dog turns into dog berserk. He's like really cool. It looks really cool. And he's like he swings like the Dutch berserk sword with his tail, and then he like tips at like the giant black falcon's head, and then it reveals that it looks like Griffith.
Holy shit! It might be Griffith.
So, like,
Whoa!
and they fight. And there's some really cool panels of like seeing dog Guts fight Falcon Griffith. You would think that this implies that Guts is in the Berserker armor. I guess it's a match for Griffith. We'll find out.
I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see.
We'll find out whether that was a correct teaser or not.
And then there's too many monsters for them to fight, and then Shioka summons the old lady. And then
they
the
fight
old lady
monsters. The old lady
everything.
defeats the monsters. And then they arrive at like the final piece, and the final piece is
the child.
Their child. The embryo.
A cute little
the
guy.
demon embryo. And then the demon embryo transforms into, I think, the last piece after they touch it.
Well, they have
And then
like flashbacks of what actually happens to
oh
Casca.
yeah, then they see it, and like Barty's mind almost breaks seeing it, but Shirker like pulls her back. It's like, no,
Yeah.
no, no, don't collapse.
And then they can
And
see
then
that
like
it's the heart.
yeah, and then they put the heart in the Casca, and Barty says, "Don't worry about this. I'm gonna still be by your side, little silly Casca." And then after Casca's restored, I think they get teleported out of the dream immediately.
Yeah, that's it. As soon as Casca wakes up.
And then they wake up, and then they look towards Casca, and yeah, she's back to normal.
She's regular Casca. Whoa.
And they have like some nice emotional words. They cry, they hug. Uh,
Casca gets a
thing
nice dress.
yeah, Farty mentions guts, and like Casca's like a really nice
Good memories.
panel.
Yeah.
It is like supposed to like they're supposed. I think that was a pretty good payoff. Seeing Casca cry was nice.
It was. There was some nice stuff in this chapter.
But then and immediately the first thing that happens is like the Shurikey like says like, no, we should not talk about like the final boss of this, implying like the love quadruple triangle that they have going where everyone likes guts.
Yeah.
Which was pretty silly and not
Good stuff.
like not thematically appropriate, but it's okay. And then the chapter ends with like Casca wants to see someone, and I already told the flower mark is like, oh, already told Guts to come over, and then she like walks to Guts, and there's like this really nice panel of her approaching Guts, and then her mind broke keys because
she
seeing Guts
remembers.
reminds her of all the sad things
Yep.
that happened. So when you thought that after so much struggle, you could have anything nice in Berserk, they immediately take the nice thing away from you.
I mean, it's Berserk. Of course. Like,
and
that's the
Casca
point of
can
the manga.
interact, because if Casca interacts with Guts, like she gets very, very bad. She like falls over, falls unconscious, gets a heart attack. Pretty rough for Guts.
Yeah. And then
Do you
it cuts back.
script?
What?
I mean, do you want to have your next prepared statement that you wrote yourself?
No, not yet. Because next it cuts back over to Griffith and like Zod and all them doing their stuff, fighting against trolls and
they
all
fight
that.
like they fight monsters that are bozos. They defeat the bozos, and then they show like they like repair like a ruin, and then they reveal that Griffith has unlocked quick travel, fast travel. Yeah, basically, if you're with Griffith, you can just fast travel across the world now.
I mean,
which
yeah,
is
he's Griffith.
so silly and funny on one end.
So there's some really nice looking panels with some cool monsters and all that. And then, so basically, Guts' party reached their destination of Elf Island, hoping to rescue Casca's mind by way of the ritual use of the Flower Storm Monarch Danan's Corridor of Dreams. Shirka and Farnas dive into a world deep within Casca's psyche and finally awaken her from her long nightmare. Then, when the time for reunion comes, the sight of Guts makes Casca cry out in repulsion.
What?
This is where we get the politics discussion that we already kind of talked about.
Yeah,
we don't have to talk about this again.
We should establish schools, compulsory education.
And then Casca gets her hair cut. She looks all pretty and stuff. She puts the armor on, and then they're like, "Holy shit, Casca is powerful! That's crazy."
That was also like so unnecessary. Like, oh my god, Casca can defeat like random
Isidro.
Like, you can defeat Isidro. Like, but yeah, I guess it needed to show off that Casca is in fact.
She still has her ability, yeah. Then she goes to like talk to Guts from the other side of the tree, and while she does so, we get the funny Casca panel, like the Shirko one from before.
Yeah, she mentions. Oh yeah, she says that. I think Isidro reminds her of
Judo. Yeah.
Yeah, which Judo character assassination, by the way.
True. R.I.P. Judo.
And then like her mind breaks again, and Guts is like, "Damn, I really can't be anywhere near her."
Damn, this bitch hates me. Then Skeletor shows up.
And he's like, "I told you so." She didn't want it. And he's like, "Fuck you." But I guess you're maybe right. But and what are you doing here?
Yeah. And then Casca's being like nursed back to health by Farney and all them. Farney gets a
Yeah.
witch hat, which looks nice.
Yeah, and then they show off that both of them are actually very good at magic, and everyone on the island is like, "Oh my god, these guys are crazy at
Everyone's
magic."
impressed, yeah.
Then we see that. I think basically at this point we see that Guts and the Skeleton Knights are going a place because Skeleton Knight said, I want you to meet someone."
Yeah. Um, and then meanwhile, Shirka's flying around on the broom with the other witch, which is fun.
They
They
like
follow
establish like
Guts and
a sibling
Skeletor.
friendship. Oh yeah, they also meet like a more hack type of witch on the island, and that is
Oh
apparently
yeah,
like the mentor
and that
of
was the
that girl.
master. Yeah.
Yeah, and they go to like some stony area, and they're
The
like, "This is
stone
where the dwarves
forest.
live."
Yeah.
And then they go and they meet like a blacksmith dwarf who reminds Guts of his blacksmith friend that is now dead.
Mhm.
And he's like, "I'm the one who made your armor." And damn, you've been using the armor a lot. I can tell by how the armor looks.
Mhm. And then he smashes it with a hammer, and then Guts goes berserk, and then he chains him
Yeah,
up.
yeah, they change them up, and it's like, I will show you what happened to the previous owner of the armor. And we basically,
We
like, they
find
don't
out
say it, but we see that the previous owner of the armor is Skeleton Knight, and we
they
see that
basically say
Skeleton
it.
Knight was
Yeah.
fighting the previous God Hand, and like from God's POV, he's holding like his dead girlfriend. So like, Skeleton Knight had his wife, and she died. Because he was fighting the God Hand, and the God
And
Hand
the
apparently like
previous God Hand.
only the brain guy is like a
Yeah.
permanent God Hand member. The rest are like all new.
I wonder if something happened where like Skeletor was fighting the God Hand, managed to beat the other four, and then Brain Guy did something. Skeletor lost to Brain Guy, and then Brain Guy was like, "Fuck! Well, now I have to make more God Hands," and that's how Griffith got his spot in the God Hand, along with the other ones that were also new.
It is like possible, but we don't know. And I could spoiler for like the rest of Berserk up until now. They haven't said anything about it.
Yeah. Um. So that happens. We find out they have a connection to the Elf King person, or Skeletor does. They were like,
Mm,
and it cuts back to the rest of the gang. Isidro being stupid.
Isidro being stupid? No way.
Yeah, can you believe it? There's some Guts pensive panels, and then
Guts
the
is
kid
definitely
shows
not
up.
happy. Yeah, and then the kid shows up, and then there's like just a bunch of like them interacting with the kid, nice, sad, happy moments.
Mm-hmm. Kid still
But
likes
then, I
Casca.
mean, we can just skip ahead. Like, yeah, they have like a bunch of like nice moments, both mostly with Casca, but also with Guts. And Guts, I mean, at someone like the kid is like in Guts' armor. He's like, no, go play with Casca. She needs you more than
Yeah.
me. Because Guts
And
has to be sad.
then
And then we see at like the end of the full moon, the kid goes outside and transforms into Griffith.
holy shit. And
Which,
that's
by the
where
way, was somewhat
Kentaro
teased.
Miura ends
Was
writing
somewhat
Berserk.
teased, by the way. There was a tease because at one point we see like Griffith after having sex with the princess. He's looking like outside of the window, and it's like full moon, and then we see that Griffith like jumps out the window. He said it's
Mm-hmm.
like time. So this was somewhat teased. I'm sure Berserk fans probably having like multiple years of like time of like predicting this in between the fucking chapters.
Yeah.
Maybe probably figured this out
They
because it
probably
was
figured it
revealed.
out. Yeah. I think it was
But
fun,
yeah,
a cool thing though.
it was a cool reveal. I
Um,
liked it.
yeah, it was good. I thought it was good. And
Yeah,
then
and Guts immediately tries to
that's the end of
kill Griffith.
the volume.
Yeah,
That's the
this
end
is
of
this is indeed
Mr.
where
Berserk in time.
this is the last thing the author wrote, which is like somewhat thematic that after that like big reveal, the author dies to some
Mm-hmm.
degree. I guess if he died like in the middle of the pirate ship arc, it would have been a lot less thematically appropriate.
That would suck, yeah. Um, let's see. So then what happens? What actually happens of importance between that and current chapter? Because it's not much.
Hmm.
They fight Zod, who showed up as well. And then
I mean, he fights Griffith, and Griffith
Griffith is
just
way too powerful.
just whoops him. He can't do anything. And then Zod shows up.
Fully
And Zod
unharmed
also
by the sword.
yeah. And Griffith just
Griffith
kind of
grabs
takes
Casca.
Casca, like leaves, and then the island starts like falling apart, I guess. Which
Yeah, the
I don't.
island falls apart. Everything starts disappearing.
Yeah, all the fantasy creatures like disappear when the island like breaks apart.
Guts is very sad. Um,
Yeah, Griffith leaves with Casca and uses the fast travel system to go back.
he unlocked the
Meanwhile,
airship in Final Fantasy.
yeah, meanwhile, Guts is like completely broken. He's like, I couldn't land one hit on him. What the fuck?
Yeah. Because he sucks.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
the
we get the
island's
Yamcha panel.
Yeah, so like after the island breaks apart, they have to take like all the humans that lived on the island, like all the witches and stuff, and take them like back to the mainland on the ship. Like Guts is on like also on the ship, and he's like completely broken. He drops his sword, and he's like, I mean, my entire life I've relied on my sword, and now it didn't do anything for me. I lost everything again. So this part is like super depressing. After Casca comes back, now everything is to shit. I mean, I think it even says like at some point like after so long, like we thought that we had like a nice place to stay and like just be happy, and then boom, everything sucks. Everything like the worst we have ever been off probably since the eclipse.
Yeah. I mean, it's Berserk, of course.
And Guts is completely demoralized. Like we haven't really seen Guts like this. Like even when the eclipse happened, he was just very angry. But now he's just like
now he's
heartbroken.
sad. Yeah.
Now for the first time, we really have the you know the like
the Guts
sad
theme.
Berserk music.
Yeah, the Guts theme. yeah.
Now it's actually justified.
This is what it was for.
Finally has reached the Guts state of mind. You know, like how the Guts theme is generally used with that like one panel from a long time actually ago where Guts like looking down, like holding his sword.
Yeah.
We have finally reached that moment in Berserk. Like thematically appropriately, this is how Guts feels right now.
Yep.
And then
Casca's sad about being abducted, and then
Griffith like fast travels back, and they like all the people, like all his guys greet him when he's back, and he has Casca with him, and they like have like they show off how like Casca's like somewhat like mind manipulated. She just sort of accepts living in the palace for a bit until she's reminded of the other people, and she tries to escape, and then they like abduct her and put her back in her bed, and then she goes back to like being like semi mind manipulated and accepting living in the castle of Griffith and stuff.
Yeah.
And then they cut back to the ship, and the ship gets attacked by pirates, and they get whooped.
Pirates?
Yeah, and they get whooped. Everyone is like they're trying like they were like trying to prepare like a spell, and they get attacked while that time, which is like very inconvenient. And normally Guts would have gone nuts, but because he's sad, like we actually have like a point where like the Kushan open the door, and they're all like scared of Guts. They're like, this guy's like about to kill us, and then they poke him, and he's like, he's not doing anything, and they like put like a sword away.
Chain
like,
him up.
And then they start training him. And, like, they all knew that Guts was clearly like super dangerous, and they were, I guess, presumably like surprised when he just wasn't. He was just laying on the ground depressed, and they could just like abduct him so easily.
Yeah, and then they did, and then the end of
Berserk. The last thing they show is these Kushan pirates. Rickard is with them, and the one Kushan guy in the Pillar Man is also with them. So these are technically Guts' allies and friends. I don't know why they raided the ship this like in this hostile of a manner.
I don't know.
But they did, and presumably
we'll find out next time.
Like a few months, they're gonna like talk, and Rickard is gonna be like, "Hey Guts, I've made some friends. Do you want to go whoop Griffith's ass?" And Guts is gonna be like, "I'm sad, Guts now."
And then
I'm sad. I'm not nuts Berserk anymore. I'm sad Berserk.
That's true. And that's the end of Berserk. That's it. There's nothing
That is
more.
everything that's happened in Berserk. So we can like now open more discussions.
Open the floor to Berserk.
The first thing we should do is finally answer the question that we started at the very start.
Yeah.
What would Berserk be like if it was released in the modern day? It would be a shonen.
Yeah,
It would be a
it's
shonen.
a shonen series. Yeah.
Just like a typical shonen series that is like long running shonen being it releases like 2 chapters in 7 years, and the chapters are all like 15 pages long.
Yep.
And
That's it. That's Berserk in the modern era.
Berserk is just shonen. Shonen humor, shonen references, shonen seriousness, shonen like wow, awooga booba booba booba. There hasn't been a lot of like ever since Berserk turned into shonen, like sexual assault
There's not
hasn't
Berserk
happened like the
moments.
last
Yeah.
150 chapters.
Turns out shonen's better.
I think the last sexual assault happened in like Conviction arc.
I'm trying to remember. Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah, ever since.
Because I mean, there were flashbacks to like Casca's, like obviously
Yeah,
her dreams and stuff.
The last time, yeah, basically ever since Guts got like a second party and the whole like Berserk stopped being as serious and like being more about like, as I said, when Berserk changed genre from seinen to shonen, that didn't happen ever since then. And then also when Berserk fell off. So, remember how I said people were like wrong about Berserk needs sexual assault to be good? Maybe they were right all along.
They weren't, though. Is the thing.
Because when it stopped having it, the show fell off, or the manga fell off. So I think it's not because of the sexual assault. Personally, I don't think that is what the problem of Berserk modern Berserk is.
Yeah.
Though some may disagree.
Some may.
So yeah, what do you think about Berserk? I think Berserk started off basically what I expected. Like it's like a very iconic series, and it was like what I expected. It extremely edgy, extremely like brutal, constant sexual assault, but like pretty interestingly written characters to some degree. And some intrigue stuff. Like the entire like Band of the Hawk stuff until the eclipse was pretty good.
It was good.
I think so. I think it deserves being like considered like a very iconic series. That part. And the eclipse is obviously like a very big highlight of like that is kind of where Berserk could have ended. It's like just this like ending, like just a sad ending to a story, because that's where Berserk peaked. So you know what they say: end your story when it peaks.
True. But they didn't. They went on for 275 more chapters.
Then they keep going, and I guess maybe like at the very end of this episode we can like do a like Berserk arc tier list.
Yeah, we can do
that. Yeah,
or we could do a separate video so it can be a subscriber special.
Nah, I think like including it at the end of this is just thematically appropriate.
Alright, we'll do an arc tier list in this, and then we'll do a subscriber special with characters.
Alright, we can do it that way. We definitely at the end though. Like, let's just discuss what we thought about Berserk.
Yeah.
Let's get fully done with the discussion first. So yeah, that's like my thoughts on like the first like chapter of the first like I think it's like a more not like a chapter in like a manga way, but like a chapter like there's chapters of stories. And that was like the first chapter, like the first act of like a 3-act plot. And we get all this stuff, which the middle of Berserk, very kind of trying to find what to do after all of that stuff, which it takes a while. There's a bunch of mid arcs back to back to back, and then we eventually get to Berserk Act 2 like start. I would say like I would call it in fact an interlude in between acts where like just stuff kind of happens. But then like Griffith is reborn, and it's like where Act 2 starts. This is where Berserk turns into a shonen. This is where Guts like becomes less edgy, gets friends. Like in general, just a seriousness gets toned down. We stop having sexual assault that much. We get more of a focus on like other characters as well, instead of just following Guts and Puck around the entire time. And this part is mixed. There's some really good arcs. There's some really bad arcs. In general, when it comes to Guts as companions, I think they're all good, besides Isidro.
Obviously, and Puck.
Yeah, but 40, I think 40 actually very interesting
40
character.
Is solid. Yeah, I like 40.
I think she really progresses as a character. You see her at first, and you're kind of like whatever, and you do start caring about her as she goes. She actually does have character progression.
She changes a lot as a character.
Yeah. She is probably definitely the character that progresses the most in Berserk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But most characters don't progress a lot at all. In fact, like she progresses like a lot. Shurika gets a bit character progression, like when it starts off. Guts has like not a lot of character progression. Like at the start, and like a little bit like becoming like after he like has a character regression in the conviction arc, he like bounces back from that. Like he doesn't progress a lot. Serpico has like a tiny bit, like really just this like very mid subplot about him hating Guts and then learning to not hate Guts. Like completely mid, completely unnecessary subplot. And Isidro doesn't change at all because he sucks. Bad character.
He sucks, and he always has sucked. He's just a sucky guy.
Just an awful character. I guess the mermaid girl is also like a member of the party now, but she joined basically. Just joined basically.
Yeah, she's the newest.
And you know, she's definitely in the top half because Puck and Isidro are at the bottom.
Yeah, we'll make the character tier list later. Yeah, and we can talk about that.
So yeah, the mid portion of Berserk is in fact mid, but then it like bounces back sometimes, but then falls down again as well. So Berserk like just very solid first act. Like definitely you would recommend this to someone who is able to tolerate the like really rough parts.
The Berserk moments, yeah.
Yeah, the Berserk moments, and then after that it's like whatever, man. Like there's like some good. There's some like super solid moments, but like you have to read through a lot of mid to get to those moments. So the people who only talk ever about like the fake Berserk fans, they were right. You don't need being a real Berserk fan was a mistake.
Yeah.
You just
stop after Golden Age.
After Griffith goes Griffith mode and does the Berserk moment with Casca, just stop. You're not missing out on anything.
Well, I guess you would miss out on Shirka.
You're missing out on Shirka, but it's okay. And you're missing out on like the nuts berserking armor. But you can just like look at gifs of it, I guess.
Yeah. Let's see. What would you rate Berserk out of 10?
It's honestly hard to say. I would say the first part is like a solid 9. Then we like bounce between like 5s and 8s.
Yeah.
So like between 7 and 8 probably.
Yeah.
Probably more 7.
Yeah, I put it at a 7.
It depends on my mood. If you make me think more about the good parts of Berserk, I would lean 8. If you remind me of all the terribleness, definitely would lower that to a 7 immediately.
Yeah, I mean, I think looking back on it, most of what I think about is the good moments. I think about like the Golden Age. Moments. I think about the cool stuff and the fantasy stuff.
That's just how things works, right?
Right.
You don't worry about
exactly.
That.
Yeah.
But wait, how many volumes was it now?
41.
Okay, volume progress 41.
Or
we did it.
Maybe 42. I don't know if 42 is out.
It's okay.
Yet.
It's alright.
Yeah.
I think 41 was the last.
Oh wait, 42 was released on September 29th in Japanese.
Yeah, so like.
So you can mark 42 on AniList, I think.
Yeah, I guess. I'll mark 42. But yeah, nuts Berkin time. Definitely like people are overselling it, but it's not like one of those things where like people say it's good and then it ends up just being ass. Like a lot of like popular things are like modernly popular, like Rent a Girlfriend or something like that, or Mushka Tensei probably also a lot less like epic.
Yeah.
Like Berserk, like it has like it is not overrated in the sense that I understand why people find it iconic. It's just
for sure.
The part they find iconic is not what Berserk is.
It's not most of Berserk. Yeah.
And
most of Berserk is not iconic.
The rest of Berserk is just it's a manga. You know, it's like I wouldn't say it's like a terrible manga. I would say it's like one of those like long running shonen series that is like if you like it, you like it, but it's like not anything like super peak that everyone has to check out.
And
yeah, obviously, if you want to read Berserk, for one, you don't need to anymore because you've listened to this podcast.
Exactly.
But if you want to do so, just remember there's gonna be a lot of sexual assault, especially in the earlier parts. But I guess it really is like you gotta have to deal. If you want to read Berserk, you have to deal with it because the good parts have it and the bad parts don't. So,
right.
when the mid parts don't. So like if you want to read Berserk and like have like read something good, you just gotta stomach through it.
Mm-hmm. That's just how it be.
It is how it is.
Um, anything else you want to talk about before arc tier list?
Mm, uh, I think we like. I mean, I guess you haven't like. You've like agreed, but like you haven't like had like your spiel, like your little monologue about Berserk. So I guess you could like give your own monologue as well.
I mean, I don't really have much to say beyond what I've already added in. Like, I liked it at first. I didn't like a lot of it, and I think recent stuff is pretty good. I liked one of my favorite parts that's happened since Golden Age was just the whole um, Elf Island stuff. I was kind of worried
Alpine was
because
great. Like introduction was nice. Like
yeah,
just aesthetics were nice, and the things that had, like the Casca memory part, I think was really good.
that was very good. Yeah, I was worried going into the Elf Island arc because it was hinted at before that like Shirka thought that little kid was the like secretly the Elf King or whatever, and I was like, oh fuck, if that's the Elf King, then I'm gonna be very disappointed in this whole thing. But then when they revealed the actual monarch, I was like, holy shit, this is actually really cool. I like this. I like this design. I like the character,
I
and
really
the
like the
whole
part
arc
where,
in
like
general.
yeah, I really like the parts where like after Shirka is revealed to be wrong, he's like embarrassed. Like, oh no, my theory was wrong.
Yeah,
And then,
Shika was like
pat her on
kind
the
of
back
in
and like
denial
it's
of the
okay.
fact that she was wrong, still trying to
Yeah,
convince everyone else that well maybe there's still a chance. That was fun.
but and like she gets like a pat on the back. It's like it's okay, it's okay.
Yeah, I'm glad she was wrong.
If anything, like this makes me think like, did the author change his mind? Because like it's so strange for like to have that moment drop and then just like
I don't think so. I think it was just like a red herring.
it could be. If so, then that's a good red herring.
I think it was. I think that was actually pretty well written.
To be fair, you offer like 7 years in between it,
Yeah,
like in between her making that statement and actually happening. It was like so many years because the like biggest Berserk pause I'm pretty sure is the fish arc, which they messed up. That the fish arc took so much time out of him.
yeah, that's sad. Very boring arc.
Yeah, I think we basically voiced our opinions on Berserk. It's
Yeah,
fine.
it's Berserk. It's 7 out of 10.
Yeah. Uh,
Let me
is it the best manga of all time? No, it is
No,
in fact not the best
definitely
manga
not.
of all time.
Of course not.
It is. I mean, the thing is, people like it a lot. Like if I go for my anime like our people have, like people I follow
Yeah,
have.
everyone I follow has
There's
it
so
at
many.
like 10 out of
There's
10.
so many fives
Like,
and tens.
yeah. Koro dropped with a mid face. Very based Koro.
Wait, wait. Like I always remembered Rumi as a Berserk fan, but Rumi didn't read after like the the Griffith like original arc.
Yeah, Rumi paused at chapter
Rumi is a
126.
fake Berserk fan. Rumi,
The truth
if you're
comes
listening
out.
to the podcast, you're a fake Berserk fan.
Fake
You're
ass fan. Boo.
the fakest fan. Ruby didn't read much more. Ruby read like one more volume than Koro.
Yeah.
That's messed up.
This is a call out post. Let me change. Hold on. I have to. Where's window? Let me put this in view. Berkin arcs tier list.
I feel like these arcs are definitely like a bit like underhanded as to what it counts as an arc.
Yeah, this is what we've got: Black Swordsman, Golden Age, Conviction, Millennium Falcon, Fantasia.
I think this
And Millennium
way of
Falcon is
doing
just like
this way of doing
everything.
arcs is so bad. It's like there's definitely arcs inside of these arcs that are like multiple volumes long, and people are like, nah.
Yeah.
These like multiple very much separate sequences of instances. They're one arc.
Yeah, because like look at this. If you look at these plot subdivisions, these could all be their own arcs.
Is there like a tier list which has them, or are Berserk fans just into
No,
that
I
like
didn't.
that?
I didn't find one. Let me. I can look
So
again.
this makes it so hard because like some of those mini arcs are
Oh,
bad,
I
and
guess
some of
there's
the mini
mini.
arcs are good.
There is this mini arcs, but I can't tell what is being.
Yeah, these are like really
Like
badly
you
done.
can't work with this.
I guess we'll just have to like
There's
in
preserved
our minds
volumes.
remind it. I feel like the volume tier list is just gonna be hard to remember what
Yeah.
volume is exactly what.
We might just have to go with That's basically the one that I have. Berserk arcs. Yeah, I think this is what we're gonna have to do.
Yeah, I guess we just have to deal with it. So, I guess the original
prologue.
Berserk arc. Wait, is that the prologue?
Yeah.
Just like the. Wait, so out of these 5 entries,
The
it's
Black Swordsman arc is the first arc is 3 volumes. Yes, that's correct.
It's so bad. This one was alright. Like it was like it was like the start of Berserk. I feel like this could even be not enough development.
I think it is.
And the first Berserk arc. This one's just kind of
This
sauce,
is
right? Like
the
if
Golden
you want to read
Age.
Berserk, this is
Yes.
what you're getting. But this is why
This
you
is
read
why
Berserk.
you read Berserk. Yeah.
It's kind of good. Like you care about the characters. I feel like the battles and stuff you don't care much about that happen in this arc. But in general,
yeah.
I think the battles in Berserk are kind of mid. But the characters that are there is cool. The like intrigue plot lines are like way better than the battle plot lines.
For sure, yeah.
Like
I mean, that's the case with all of Berserk. There's not really any
yeah,
cool Berserk fights. It's just Guts with his big sword.
but sometimes they look cool. Uh,
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially the later
well,
stuff.
mostly like I think the coolest looking Berserk fight is definitely Berserker Nuts Guts versus the Dragon guy. That fight looks really good. Because that's the first time we see Berserker
Yeah.
Nuts armor, and the author kind of went all out, making sure that it really looked good.
Mm-hmm.
Later Berserk fights, and most Berserk fights are just like the panel is just guts slashing and like a bunch of like monsters gonna have. Like there's not much to it.
It's boring, yeah.
What's the second arc? Like
Conviction arc.
What's this one? Conviction arc. They was like the problem is this one had like the Moth arc, which would be definitely like one of the worst Berserk arcs. And then there's stuff in the tower, which I think is a lot more like upper mid.
That was pretty solid. That was the
It was
finest
solid.
introduction stuff.
It was between it was like
Serpico.
Most of the runtime I would say was like mid, but it definitely like peaked a bit towards the end. Like towards the end was very cool. So it's like
yeah. And there was
it's
the
like
birth
upper mid.
ceremony as well.
Yeah, the birth ceremony was pretty
which
good.
Was good. I liked that a lot.
I would say overall the birth ceremony is very short, but like it's good. It's good. So it's like
yeah.
But because we have to put all of these together.
Do you think you do a seasoning?
Nah. This includes
Really?
Moth arc. Remember,
But Moth arc was not that long. That wasn't a huge part of it.
It wasn't. It was as much. It wasn't longer than birth ceremony.
Was it?
It was like more than the volume, I think. Definitely.
Where did I had a thing open with volumes? I don't know.
It was like the Lost Children.
It was like a couple volumes.
Look at it's a lot of chapters.
No.
It was just. It's like the worst Berserk arc. I think. Like remember, for every like cool like Griffith moment, there's like 20 panels of a naked child in your face, and you have to read through it.
I guess. Okay, it can be mid. Millennium Falcon arc. Now this is like everything.
There's like everything up until like the last bit, right? Like everything
it's up to chapter 307. Yeah.
No, this is also like really hard because there's so much cool, but also so much like just painfully mid stuff in here.
So there's the Holy Evil War. The war begins. Reunion in the wilderness. Oh, this is maybe a lot of stuff that I shouldn't be showing on YouTube. Evil Horde. That was.
This one has like shirka stuff in it, but also has things like there's just a lot of the mid parts of it. Like
It
if
does
like
also have Berserkin
I
armor.
mean, obviously that's because it has so much. It's like most of Berserk is this fucking arc because the arc structure is done terribly. Like this is not one arc. This is like 70 arcs.
That's okay.
I mean, the problem like some of these parts mid, some of these parts really good, arguably. Like some of the Grifter stuff, but also like some of the other Grifter stuff is awful. Like honestly, the war between like the Kushan Empire and Griffith was so boring. It's like
Yeah, that's
you
true.
get pretty told at the start, uh, Griffith is gonna win because Griffith's the protagonist in the Isekai right now. It's like the Kushan are so boring. They're presented as comically evil, while Griffith literally is like Jesus, but also Satan at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And then like the new stuff is definitely more like I can live with. But wait, does this include the island, the Kraken Island? Because if this includes the Kraken Island, I think we also would have to bump this one
Yeah.
down.
It does, yes. Fuck.
And
You're right.
most of this was the Kraken Island. The Kraken Island is like longer than Elf Island. Like if we just include Elf Island, I think Elf Island would also be at the top. But because it also includes Kraken Island, would be at the bottom, we gotta put the middle.
Well, there it is. Berserk arc tier list.
Berserk mostly mid, but there's also one part where it's pretty sauced. There's also, but once again, this is like the problem with this is it's like so badly done. Like if this was like spread out more, you would have a few more arcs in sauced. Definitely some arcs in like semi-sauced, and then like, but there would also be a lot of arcs in the very bottom. At least like 2 or 3 would be at the bottom.
Yeah. Oh well.
So like yeah, it is how it is when you have like a bad way of defining what your arcs are. Berserk overall leans upper mid, which I guess a 7 rating is upper mid.
Yeah, it is.
It's not good, but it's not bad.
It's not bad, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Those are not just mid, you know, because mid is already bad, really.
Mid is bad, like, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think it's upper mid. I think 7 is like
Berserk
way to define
is dry seasoning. Let's be honest.
It is like lower end dry seasoning, definitely. So, like,
yeah, it's a little sprinkle of dry seasoning. It's like the lemon zest dry seasoning.
I think it's like really hard to define because what Berserk really is like, it's like if you were chewing a burger and like every other bite is like no meat, no sauce.
You had a bite with too much mustard on it. That's Berserk.
Some bites are delicious and some bites are awful.
Yeah, they didn't mix the toppings very well, so some bites have too much sauce.
I like how we define Berserk.
Anything else you want to say about Berserk? Closing thoughts?
Black Clover better.
True. Black Clover better. Boruto better.
Tanjiro would beat Guts in a fight.
Honestly?
Honestly, like thinking back at it, people are like so silly about Berserk. Like Guts is the coolest protagonist of all time. He's the deepest protagonist of all time, and then all he
does is like, swing a big sword.
Children be like, I like Tanjiro. Men be like, I like Guts. Bro, I would like Guts. He's mid. Like
if I were 14, I would like Guts. I think.
Like I don't know how people think Guts is like that cool of a character. Like he really is just. I'm the angry sword guy, and I keep having nice moments, and then I ruin it by being an asshole.
Mm-hmm. I'm interested to read the last of the Seinen Big 3, Vagabond, because main character from Vinland versus main character from Berserk, very stark difference in like how the characters are presented and how much progression they go through. So I wonder what Vagabond is like. Hello?
Like early, you can compare Guts to early Thorfinn. Definitely.
Yeah, you can.
People always forget how bad early Thorfinn actually was.
So like, I think all of Berserk can fit into the first like 50 chapters of Vinland Saga.
I mean, I guess it's not really. I guess you could say that Guts' character progression just now started. We just now started.
That's true.
Guts Berserk just had he just had his cattle farm moment.
He just had his Askeladd dying moment. He's not even to cattle farm yet.
Yeah.
He's on his way to cattle farm.
The boat is bringing them to cattle farm.
Uh,
Do you think Guts is what is Guts going to do against Mecha Kettle Ascendant?
I don't know if he stands a chance as he is right now.
Who would win, Griffith, Ascendant, the White Falcon, no, the White Hawk, or
Uh-huh.
Mecha Kettle Ascendant? Who would win?
I think Mecha Kettle Ascendant mid diff.
Probably, but Griffith does have the plot protagonist powers.
That's true.
The
But Mecha
Isekai
Kettle
protagonist
Ascendant
powers.
was trading blows with God Madoka, which is an
That's true.
insane
That's
feat.
true. We will see.
Yeah. So next time we're gonna read Orin High School Host Club.
Yeah. Actually, before we should compare Griffith and Guts to like something. I think Guts is
Sasuke and
Isekai.
Naruto.
But what really is Guts? Guts is just kind of.
What are you trying
He's
to make?
kind of early Sasuke. Because I would say Griffith is.
He's not early
Now
Sasuke. He's just all Sasuke. A kind of like disappointingly written guy who's mad about things.
Yeah, and Griffith
That's all of Sasuke.
And Griffith is the protagonist who I was reincarnated into another world with my cheat skill, and now I'm improving the economy of the kingdom.
Yes, that's a good comparison, I think.
Yeah, I think we did well. And thank you for tuning. Oh yeah, remember how I said like the outro at the start of this? Yeah, just pretend I said it now. Thank you for joining us on all of these podcast episodes. You can thank us later for not having to read Berserk after
Yeah,
us
you're welcome.
summarizing everything for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope you tune into our next podcast, which is, as Tegan said, Orin
High School Host Club. Yeah, a bit of a change of pace. But our next video is going to be our 329 subscriber special Berserk character tier list, so make sure to tune into that as well.
I'm actually excited for that one because I feel like because you can't have this bad of a like structure for characters. It's gonna be a lot easier
exactly.
to like actually.
We can actually talk about them.
It's gonna be actually easy to talk about it without being like, all right, this arc is made out of 75 arcs, and some of them are dog water, and some of them are good. So they get the averaged out as mid, which is not a very fun way to do a tier list.
It's bad.
So yeah, fuck you, Berserk community. Can you like rearrange the arcs?
Yeah, do better. Fuck you, Berserk community. Anyway, that's the last thing I'm going to say.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Bye.